Good morning, everyone. This is Tony from her Homestead Skills. Well, I've done my morning chores for the day and got myself cleaned up and just about ready to go out for the day. Mark has attempted to go fishing. We'll see how successful he is. He tells me that when it rains like that, it just clouds the water and you don't really see too much fish and they don't really bite. So it's something for him to do. We have gone from working very, very hard every day to looking for things to keep ourselves busy. So yeah, that's just the way it goes. Now I am going to go out and look for things to prepare, small items that I want to take back with me down south when we go there, so that I'm not running around the last few days trying to figure out what I need or what I want, and just get it done ahead of time. We'll just get little bits here and there. I'm not looking at bringing any quantity of anything down with me. And other than that, of course, everyone is aware now of the election results in Canada. 50% of the population voted one way, and basically 50% of the population voted the other way. So it makes for a pretty unhappy country, and depending on which side you're on, happy or unhappy. But there are signs that there's going to be a lot of turmoil ahead. We have Alberta and Saskatchewan and perhaps other provinces looking at their options of separating from Canada. And I can't say I blame Alberta. They have been the piggy bank for the rest of the country for such a long time because they are rich in oil. So they do have natural resources that the country takes advantage of, but also tries to limit. So they're trying to prevent the oil from being removed from the ground and sold. So they're trying to turn a rich province into a poverty-stricken one. So I understand Alberta's stance on looking at separation as an option if they are not considered properly for the contributions that they make to the country. So, and there's a lot of people that are considering moving to Alberta should she separate. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Now, I'm not going to take a position whether or not the election was stolen. There's those comments as well. I mean, there's just about everything on the internet. I've done a bit of research on what you're seeing, what the feel of the country is, what the feel of certain populations have. And of course, it all depends on where in the population, where in the country you reside, how you feel about the whole situation. Certainly, Alberta is not happy. Ontario is mixed. Quebec has always been Quebec, and they're more interested in their own issues and really don't always see themselves as part of the whole. You know, they do like to see themselves as very distinct and separate from the whole. And then, of course, the maritime provinces are in a world of their own as well. So yes, we're as different province-wide as the states are to the U.S. I mean, you have groups of states that have one vision, and then you have other groups that have other outlooks. So yeah, it's no different in Canada. It's just where that population is. And anyway, a lot of us are not happy with the results of the election and how it went down. Personally not happy with Mr. Doug Ford, who is our premier. And he deserves all the lambasting that he's getting. He seemed to side, he's supposed to be a conservative, and he sided with the Liberals. So not happy with his perspective, his point of view, harping on the harm that Trump is going to do. And there was just this recent I guess the result is somebody did a survey, and there was a recent understanding that really Ontario would not be harmed all that greatly with the tariffs. So only 100,000 or so jobs would be lost. So making a big issue out of making a mountain out of a molehill. So yeah, some of us are not at all happy with Doug Ford, and now the rest of them are not happy with Carney. All those that thought he would stand up to Trump, looks like they got fooled, because Carney is not standing up to Trump. He's going to meet with him and do a deal with him, and although that's probably a necessary thing, that's not what those people voted for. Us conservatives understand that you have to do a deal with Trump, with the U.S. Apparently, some people voted on emotion, and that's never a wise thing to do. But we are where we are today. It is a liberal government, and it is a minority liberal government, and they claim that they're not going to turn to the NDP to help prop them up, to get a majority. And really, you can't do what you want without a majority. So who are they going to turn to? Are they going to turn to the Quebec Party, or are they going to turn to the Conservatives and try to make deals with the Conservatives? Now that'll be interesting. Do they think that they can govern on a minority government? Well, they might be able to for a time, but when enough people get upset with them, you might see another election in Canada before 2 years is up. I don't know if the result would be any different, but we might have another go at it. On the other end of it, Pierre Poilievre's seat was taken by a Liberal, and I understand part of the reason why that happened is that the riding was reconfigured. So they probably added a whole bunch of Liberals into that riding and changed the makeup of it, and it made it very easy for the Liberals to take that riding. Somebody was asleep at the switch, and it could have been the Conservative Party headquarters that wasn't paying attention. Somebody was asleep at the switch. That never should have happened, but it did. And fortunately, gentleman in Alberta has already agreed to give up his seat so that Pierre could stay. I mean, Pierre Poilievre is awesome. He's probably the best person to stand up to Carney. He was very good at taking Trudeau to task, and I'm sure that he will be just as good at taking Carney to task for where he's going. And I don't know that any other Conservative member would be as strong as he would be. So I know that there are those that are claiming that the party will remove him as leader. I don't see that happening. I don't see anybody that has the wherewithal to match him in strength and in wit and in, you name it, messaging. Not only that, he did actually increase the party status. Another way of looking at the way this thing imploded was that really it was not that the Conservatives lost, they actually gained, and the Liberals gained as well. It was the other parties that lost position, and Conservatives and Liberals both picked up on the losses from the other parties. The NDP party was decimated. They no longer have official party status. You need at least 12 seats to have an official party status. They only have 7. And if they try to cross over to the Liberal Party to give them a majority, I'm sure that they will be punished for that by those that voted for them as NDPs. So, I mean, that's always an option. Let's see, how many do the Liberals need? They've got 169, they need 172 to form a majority, so that's 3. If they manage to get 3 NDPers to cross over party lines, go from being NDP to Liberal, they could form a majority. So a lot of stuff up in the air. Alberta is seriously looking at separating, and that is not something that is led by the government itself, but by the population. I mean, the government is the government of Alberta, the provincial government of Alberta, the premier there, is allowing this to go forward, setting the stipulation, what is necessary, and it's up to the population to decide whether they want to go forward with a separation. So we live in a upside down world today. I don't really see that things are going to straighten out all that quickly. I don't really, there may be issues with having empty shelves within the next month or 2. We don't know. The idea is to be as prepared as you possibly can. I have no interest in fear-mongering, but keep an eye on what's going on, both politically and economically, because we could be in for a world of hurt very, very quickly. And I'm not just saying Canada. I think Canada is going through a huge transition. Whether it'll stay, I suspect that it will not separate, but what concessions will finally have to be made to Alberta that Quebec has always gotten. I mean, the rest of us are all caught in the middle. Quebec has always gotten their own way, and Alberta's always paid the price. And I know people don't like to hear that, but that's the truth. They have what they call transfer payments here, where funds are transferred from richer provinces to poorer provinces. So, Alberta's always been the one that has the funds taken from them and transferred to other provinces. So I think they're just getting a little bit tired of that. Anyway, it's going to be a wild ride, folks. It's going to be, who knows what the future will bring. And I'm not for one to say that, yes, they cheated. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I have no way of proving anything or knowing any of that. So I'm going to stick to facts. And there are tons and tons of people on the internet with their own points of view, and really point of view and fact are 2 different things. I mean, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of scaremongering, fear-mongering, whatever you want to call it. I want to try and stick to facts, and these are the facts as I see them. There's going to be change. What that will entail, nobody knows just yet, but definitely we have a new Prime Minister, and apparently this time he was elected by the people, for good or for bad. Anyway, I also hear that people deserve the government that they elect. So anyway, this is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm going to post this video quickly and go out for the day and try to enjoy the warmer weather. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.